Welcome to Public Poetry, the monthly poetry reading presented by the Houston Public Library and Public Poetry. Today's program will include readings from our featured poets, as well as an open mic session. We'd like to encourage you to visit houstonlibrary.org and sign up for our Summer Reading for Grown-Ups program, which will be going on until August 15th and has some great prizes available. Thank you, everyone. And now I'd like to turn it over to Fran Sanders, the founder and director of Public Poetry. Fran?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining us. Thanks to the library for this amazing partnership that we've had the past 11 years, and thanks to an equally amazing and wonderful board of directors who have been keeping us going all of this time. In addition to the library reading series, Public Poetry also does a number of other programs. One of them is that we publish an anthology based on a theme. You can enter your poem on Submittable. The theme is tomorrow, and you'll find information about the guidelines on publicpoetry.submittable.com. I hope you'll all consider entering. Additionally, we do an annual poetry film festival called Real Poetry, Houston, Texas. Submissions of your video poems are now open on Film Freeway, and you can go to filmfreeway.com/realpoetry2022 to get full information about that. I also would like to remind you that although we are always the first Saturday of the month, next month being a holiday, we have moved it up 1 week to the 11th of September. So I hope you'll all make note of that and be with us then. Before we begin, Carrie Riegler would like to take a group photo of everyone that's here. And so if you wouldn't mind, those of you who still have your cameras off, please put your cameras on, then we will do that. So,
hey everyone, hello, lovely humans. As Fran said, I'm Carrie. I record the whole event and I take pictures so we can remember it for years to come. So when we take a photo here at Public Poetry, we don't say the boring cheese, we say poetry. So I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, poetry. Y'all will join me on poetry and we will take the photo. So I'm gonna wait a second in case anyone's putting on their camera for a last minute. All right, great, we got another one. Okay, so is everyone ready? 1, 2, 3, poetry.
Poetry.
Okay, and of course we have to get one more for good luck. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, poetry.
Poetry.
Lovely, thank you everyone. Have a good reading.
Thank you, Carrie. That was great. So Leela Merrill will be our host today. Take it away, Leela.
Hey, everybody. So before we get going, just a quick word on content warnings. If a poem you're about to read contains material that may be inappropriate for children or upsetting to people who survived certain things, just give us a quick warning. Give folks a moment to do whatever they need to do. Okay, with that public service announcement, I will introduce our first featured poet. Allison Whipple is the author of Come Into the World Like That, and We're Smaller Than We Think We Are, and co-author of the interactive fiction Choice, Texas. Her poetry is informed by the landscape and political climate of Texas. She serves on the board of Borderlands, Texas Poetry Review, and Allison teaches technical communication at Austin Community College. Please welcome Allison Whipple.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Public Poetry, for inviting me to participate in this. I wish we could all I miss Houston. I live in Austin, but I really have developed a deep affection for Houston in my 13 years in Texas, and I wish we could be there, but I'm still so happy to be part of it. So I'm going to start. All right, it's 2:08. I'm one of those people that really needs to keep track. I'm going to read some poems from my chapbook manuscript in progress, and this is from a long poem called The High Road, but it's written in segments. The high road, highway. To know if you love someone, drive at least 500 miles with them. Make the night owl get up early and the early bird wait. I stare too hard at how industry has cracked open landscape. For 100 miles, dead earth, trash outnumbering cacti, groundwater full of poison. We cross into New Mexico, oil fields, fracking rigs behind us. We cross from oil country into no country. The high road, atmosphere. To know if you love someone, spend a week in a tent. West wind hits at 35 miles per hour. The walls buckle. I'm about to suffocate in my shelter. The car, our only refuge. I watch sun rise across a crack in the windshield. The high road, bluff. The wind decides to leave and take the last of the warmth with it. Things I took for granted. Toilets, hot tea, brushing my teeth, space heaters, pillows. The tent befriends air, welcomes the chill. On the night of no wind, my body cannot adjust to the cold. 3 shirts, 2 pairs of pants, gloves, socks, hat, 3 cups of coffee, 2 bowls of warm beans. My body believes if I sleep, I die. The high road, water. When I am in the desert, all I think about is water. Each drop I drink, used to wash dishes, my face, to brush my teeth. On the night of rain, we stay dry. The tent stands firm against the whims of weather. On the night of rain, I sleep. The high road, trail. Road signs only speak of superficial distance. At our best, we move 2 miles an hour. At our worst, half. 3 miles into the Chihuahuan desert, maples. For a moment, I believe we are borderless. I did not understand how much dust the desert contained. 3 more miles, pine trees and firs run up and down the mountain. I did not understand how quickly a landscape could change on me. And this is the concluding poem in that series. The high road, peak. You warned me about the weight of water. I only half listened. My body believes if I stop, I will never walk again. On top of the mountain, I am too tired to sit. We can look down, see clouds beneath us. I cry, but I'm not sure why I need to. To know if someone loves you, cry in front of them. I am almost too tired to stay awake for the stars. The Milky Way, a white ribbon for my naked eyes. For a moment, I believe we are bodiless. To know if you love someone, climb a mountain with them. I'm at 4 minutes, so I'm going to read 1 new poem, and then I'll conclude my first half with 3 haiku. So this is inspired by one of the amazing Travis County Audubon Society sanctuaries in far west Austin. How to build a sanctuary for Paul and Georgianne Kyle. You have to learn to cultivate wilderness. You have to learn that to let a plot of land go wild is to invite too many deer, an invasive species or 3, live oaks that can't grow because the canopy is too thick. You have to learn that you are not removed from nature. You are nature. To make a sanctuary, you must rip out the bush honeysuckle. You must lollipop the trees so new saplings can reach the sun. As you guide dead branches into the wood chipper, you will see how the world has shaped you. Know that you can't avoid shaping the world. You must remember stewardship is neither micromanagement nor neglect. If you make the commitment, make it for the rest of your life. You must learn to have faith in controlled burn. Nobody leaves the world without a trace. If you have to leave a mark, best to do so deliberately. And then I do love to write haiku. That's been my primary mode in the pandemic. And okay, I've got 2 minutes. So I'll read 3 and I'll read each one twice. That's traditionally how we often read haiku because they're so short. Sweat bee proboscis dips into my wrinkles, a season ending. Sweat bee proboscis dips into my wrinkles, a season ending. A coyote still sings after sunrise, heat index rises. A coyote still sings after sunrise, heat index rises. I want you, a great blue heron snags a fish. I want you, a great blue heron snags a fish. Thank you.
Thank you. So many good lines there. Thank you. All right. Let me introduce our next featured poet. Rooster Martinez is a writer and spoken word poet from San Antonio, Texas. He earned an MA and MFA from the Creative Writing, Literature, and Social Justice program at Our Lady of the Lake University. In 2011, Rooster co-founded the Blah Poetry Spot, a local poetry open mic and community organization. He is a 2-time San Antonio Slam champion and part of the team that took 3rd place at the 2017 National Poetry Slam Group Peace Competition. His work has appeared in such publications as Right About Now Poetry, Button Poetry, the Huffington Post Latino Voices, Pilgrimage Press, and a Centos Review. He has 2 books, A Saint for Lost Things and As It Is in Heaven. Please welcome Rooster Martinez.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much, Allison, for those words. They were fantastic. I really, really appreciated your work. I'm gonna do 3 poems for y'all in this first round. This first piece is presently untitled, and yes, I guess I'll just jump right in. I ordered faith online, but not my own, not for me. Brushstrokes for profit of prophets to share the wall of crosses that every Mexican Catholic mother has. The suffering wall, the reminder of heaven wall. It's Christmas, Christ's not birthday, but I want her to remember the grace of a candle flame. As South Texas drops below 70 degrees and her joints lock themselves purple, when her limited field of vision requires fields rife with holy color, neon green stigmata, a funky allure, coronas golden around baby Jesus, promising that broken bodies will be mended someday. It's only another decor addition to free a life bounded by God's gift. How does faith survive Darwin's cruelty? I censor a mural where a crucifixion once stood. Thank you. If, like it was mentioned, I am from San Antonio, Texas. I really love it here. I have a very special place in my heart for Houston. I try to get there as much as possible. So I'm very thankful to be here in this space with y'all. For anybody who isn't a Spanish speaker, this poem is for both of us because I'm not a good Spanish speaker, although it's been in my life a long time, and that is exactly what this poem is about. It's kind of an easy lesson. If you ever want to learn a Spanish phrase, just spell the word socks, like your socks. So this poem is called Socks. An easy lesson I never forgot. One part a tongue, one part a país. Easy enough to teach the gringos who cannot roll their R's as well as you do, my son. Socks, Socks. Later, my father brings the sky down on me for the out of sync birds that my mouth holds. Can't articulate what can't fly. I'm missing a tongue, a country. Remembering my mother and he would code their conversations in Spanish so my ears wouldn't learn a secret gift, the identity of Santa, a runaway dog, curses and hexes, socks, Socks, spelled out letter for letter, Socks. It is what it is. I can still roll my R's well, a marathon of roadrunners bolting beneath a fresh tongue. Thank you. All right. So yes, if you spell socks, that's a Spanish phrase. It just means it is what it is, Socks. So now you have something to take with you wherever you go. But don't like run up on a Spanish speaker and be like, Socks, because, you know, could be rude. This next piece has to do with San Antonio and a lot of the history here in this place. We recently had our tricentennial like 3 years ago, and it's always just a funky reminder that the city that I live in and that my family has lived in before has existed since before this country was a country. And it's always weird whenever that comes up in conversations with people like, when did your family get here? And it's like, we always were here. One day it was Mexico, the next day it wasn't. So this poem is about the early times of San Antonio. This is 10 years young. And if I were to walk in the direction of a breeze, would I become the wind? Would I connect with wherever the wind goes and wherever it has been, or do I remain like a second hand stuck in a swelling river? I ask because I'd like to know the places I come from, or are we all simply places for others to be? 10 years young, and they've erected missions on my skin. Yanaguana became a county. They clothed me in barbed wire and bullets, blood and fences, a cross on my naked flesh. Hot wind still blows through the areas that the Spanish name balcones, and they sweat like I sweat. I am an old land, but they tell me I am a young city. The people who would talk to me are becoming fewer and fewer. Buildings spring forth from me and fall away like baby teeth. They want to redirect my rivers towards new gods. My tongue bent like cacti, too thorny for my own mouth to remember sometimes. The people who would talk to me are becoming fewer and fewer. I don't know who would listen to my song anymore, or to which gods I should cry out to. But I was here before 10 years ago, before 300 years, before gold, before galleons, before the men and their armored war dogs and the ends of blades. You found your blessings at the mouth of my song then and after and forever. I bury my magic so deep that I might recall what made me, and at night, my shadows move in places people refuse to see as graves. Some nights they dance. You cannot carbon date my skin against pitiful calendars. I know what lives here. Below the missions and the crosses, the buildings and the boulevards, I am settled. I am the dirt. I am what you continue to build upon but can never crush. Whatever comes before Alpha and Omega. Yo soy las ramas y raíces, the branches and the roots. 10 years young, and the wind tells me I will wake up when I am ready to sing again. Perhaps I never stopped and the city is only now noticing. 10 years, 300, or 1,000,000, and I am still the river that will wash out all of the blood. I am still the river that never forgets, and everyone before and everyone now will never die in my memory. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh man, much love to San Antonio. All right. Our third featured poet is Giovanni Singleton, who is the author of Ascension, Informed by the Life and Work of Alice Coltrane, which won the California Book Award Medal, and American Letters, Works on Paper, a collection of visual art and poetry. Her writing has been widely anthologized as well as exhibited in the Smithsonian Institute's American Jazz Museum, San Francisco's first visual poetry and performance festival, and on the building of Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. In 2018, she received the African American Literature and Culture Society's Stephen E. Henderson Award for Outstanding Achievement in Poetry. She is founding editor of Nocturne's Review of the Literary Arts, a journal dedicated to the experimental work of the African diaspora and other contested spaces. For 10 years, she coordinated the Lunch Poems reading series at the University of California, Berkeley, where she also served as the Holloway Lecturer in Poetry and Poetics. Singleton was recently awarded an inaugural 2020 C3 Initiative Letterpress residency, and her Dreamography is forthcoming from Noemi Press. Please welcome Giovanni Singleton.
Great, thank you. Let's see. Gonna share my screen. Okay, so I'm going to just read some excerpts from American Letters, Works on Paper, and then there's also a poem from Ascension, sort of tucked in there. Okay, so let me try to get this.
If you click slideshow,
Yep,
then play from start.
it's not giving me
Move,
that.
move. Yeah, to the left.
Okay, great.
There's-
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So this is my cover art debut. Let's see. Is there a way to move the controls? Because it's cutting off my. It's cutting off the tops of my pages on my end.
I believe if you click view and then minimize the view or minimize your, let's see.
Yeah, I don't have view on the controller unless it's under more.
Oh,
Hide
that's,
video panel.
so I don't know about the rest of the group, but I am seeing a full screen representation, the entire page
Okay.
as a viewer. Is everyone else?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm not.
Can you move the control panel to the left or the right? Just click and drag.
I see that, but it won't move enough out of the way. Okay, we'll just figure, I'll just move it around. Okay, this is a Misostic for Alice Coltrane. And a Misostic is a form that was created by musician John Cage. And it's also, I guess you notice that the capital letters going down the center spell out her name. Vedantic temple prayers, tambourines and hallelujah claps for Krishna, Ganesh, Shiva, Turiya scripture, a journey in Satchidananda, beloved John's stained glass face, churched and gospel harp, Lord of Lords, Detroit ministry, pours from Swami's Wurlitzer. And this is another Misostic for the musician Nina Simone. It's called Sanctified, a Misostic. Born to blues, hell raised to an awful strange pitch of rage, but don't let me be misunderstood. Baptismal backlash, and oh, Mississippi, goddamn, all these many blues still to shout. And this is another Misostic for the writer James Baldwin. Justice includes what may be lurking outside, around the corner. Say believe, say not a loud enough blue dances inside whatever thundering tide washes over now. And so this is from a series in the book called Not Trees. And the title comes from the fact that when I was showing these around, everyone said, oh, it looks like a tree. And my response was, but it's not a tree. So this is called Not Tree. Something in the air. And this is something about a look, something about seeing, illustrated equation number 1. Snapshot, shoot a scene, shoot your mouth off, shoot footage, cell phone, body cam. Shooter of the video, the one who shot the video. Surveillance, surveillance, headshot. 911, what's your emergency? A shot in the arm, shoot for the stars. Shoot up, shot down. Please state your emergency. Take a shot. Another shot, please. Foul shot, double shot, triple shot, express. Oh, United States of America, what's your emergency? Hot shot, big shot, good shot. Emergency, I seen him do it. Camera shot, shooter, shoot him, shoot her. Sir, turn around and get down on your knees. Hook shot, shot her, shot him. Ma'am, please put down your weapon. Film shoot, take your best shot. Take my hand, let me stand. Hear my call, lest I fall. Moonshot, one last shot. So get up, stand up for your life. Say get up, stand up for your life. This is called Exodus for the Blue People, being so. All night about above, I go down, stare out at rushing water through open window. Ocean of starlit sky fills my head, unburdens the weight of my brain. Blooms a lotus flower. Its stem stretches up through the soles of my feet. Pathway to the country inside me. Its people seekers naked in the smokeless clearing. Stained glass maze, past lifetimes spent hunting crow. Here they go, here they go, here they go. Astral stream of inky wings fluttering skyward. Echoes of ancient chants rise from the wooden cage in my throat. We are not this dance, but that one. Weather flashes across the backsides of my eyelids. We, me, and T-Monk too, fold up our chairs, go inside our cranial houses. This earthen soul, a flock of birds, where we are new, we are new, we are new to this body. Thank you.
Thank you. Love having audio and visual and such powerful and cool work too. That's outstanding. All right. Let me introduce our fourth featured poet. We will have open mic coming up just after this. Now let me introduce Chelsea B. De Soto. She is the author of A Dangerous Place, which is coming out later this year. Very exciting. Her work appears in the Adroit Journal, Copper Nickel, Gulf Coast, Massachusetts Review, Ninth Letter, Pleiades, Plowshares, and elsewhere. She's the winner of the 2020 Jeffrey E. Smith Editor's Prize from the Missouri Review, and she earned her MFA from the University of Houston, where she was the recipient of the Imprint Paul Verlaine Prize in Poetry and served as poetry editor of Gulf Coast. Chelsea lives with her family in Minneapolis. Please welcome Chelsea B. De Soto.
Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be here with you. Thanks to Public Poetry for having me, and Allison, Giovanni, and Rooster. I am so pumped to be here listening to your work and reading alongside you. So thank you. I'm going to read a few poems today from my forthcoming book, A Dangerous Place. This first one is the title poem, A Dangerous Place. It seems a beautiful spring, though I spend most of it indoors, watching through warped glass small tree buds burst into full green. The ice crystals on the edge of Lake Nokomis relaxing and spreading into waves lapping the bottom of bright canoes, and sometimes, near the shore, for the first time this year, a large white heron landing on spidery legs. An omen, I tell myself, a bird too smart to make a dangerous place its home, and I carry that with me to the hospital. And I think of the heron when the doctors say, "Congratulations, you're pregnant. Let's shine a light to greet your baby." And I think of the heron when they say, "Oh, sorry, it seems your womb is more cavern than nest, and no, it's no baby at all. What have you been feeding this thing?" And I think of the heron skimming the lake surface with spread wings. How could I not? As we watch on screen the monster burst into 10,000 gray moths. And I hear the echo of wings in my belly, and I feel the fury of wings in my lungs. And when the doctors tuck a port above my breast, I think of the heron disguising a large bed in marshy grasses. And I imagine the white sheets as heron wings, and the whirring machines are white eggs, and the worried voices are sunlight on water. This next poem is called Mythology. At first, it was easy to tell the story because it was actually happening right then. So we could tell each other the story of how a disease infiltrates a body. But even then, we did not recount all the parts, only the best ones, ending with how strong we were and graceful. But it started to get harder because you had to go back to work and I was still sick. So now it was just me and new people, and most people don't want to hear your story of grief unless they knew you before. See, grief in a new person is ugly. But I kept practicing because I was hopeful that one day I might tell the part about that morning in bed. You remember, the lake was choppy and it was hot and raining, so we closed up the house. Remember, it was you and me and the baby in bed. She was hungry and I had to roll away. And then we were crying because we knew it was beyond the point whether we were strong or graceful. And you were crying too. And in fact, I'm still trying to tell that story, or at least write it down. But I end up talking instead about food and baby formula and freezers of breast milk from strangers and how to arrange the bags precisely so the milk doesn't sour. And of course, I always mention gratitude because people like that ending. Okay, and then the last one I'll read right now is written after a Robert Haas poem called Faint Music. So this is called Maybe You Need to Write a Poem About Mercy. Start this one with a woman standing at the edge of the woods or the desert. It doesn't matter. What matters is she's standing under a darkening sky, and she knows at this point, having spent months in the hospital, that there's nothing she can do. no threshold between threat and tranquility, no demarcation she can draw around herself or her child for protection. Everything is actually everything else. The stone just kicked, and whatever comes next are the same. And knowing this, a great emptiness swells inside her stomach, an airiness she could float away on. And the night bellows, and the sun rings once more, then slips under the horizon. Maybe then, a humming of an old tune, her own hand stroking her red hair. Mercy. As in the story the man on the bus told me about his late wife, how by the end she'd forgotten their wedding even, and their children's names. And when she went missing in the depths of winter, dead bent on saving the cattle from the blizzard that years ago left all the calves frozen on their sides. He told me his wife saw angels. It was her last day. She was at home, and the nurse called him to the living room where the bed was. His wife asked, "Do you see them?" And he said yes. And together they counted the wings. When he told me this story, the man wasn't sad. He had just picked up groceries to make bread. He missed fresh bread, he said, and so he bought yeast and flour and fine kosher salt. He wanted to watch the dough rise. Because the man wasn't sad, I tried not to be sad too. He smiled and got off the bus. Out there, the street lamps flickered and the cold night grew, and off he went to warm his kitchen. I waved and wondered if there's a word for the way joy and pain are the same. How, if we're lucky, they thread us like an electrical wire cuts a tree. And there we stand, tender and green, reaching, charged, humming. Thank you.
Bravo, thank you. That was lovely. So next, we will have the open mic. A lot of you have been here before, you know what we do. One poem per customer. It can be one of yours or somebody else's. If it's someone else's, please say whose. And I encourage you to volunteer in the chat. Okay, I see Gary. And oh boy, they're rolling in. Okay, let's see. Let's start with Gary, John, Scott, and we will go from there.
Okay, so it's time for me to unmute. This poem is a physics poem. If you know about Schrodinger's cat, which is the famous experiment in physics, this is the cat talking from inside the box. It's called Solitaire, and it has an epigraph. He who is lit from T.S. Eliot, he who is living is now dead. We who are living are now dying with a little patience. I am Schrodinger's cat. I sit inside the unopened box of possibility. See the suspended. Wait. Partly dead, I scratch what doesn't itch. Play solitaire with subatomic cards that glow in the dark. Blackjack to pass the uncounted hours. The hits adding up. Poker, hoping for time to draw. A one-eyed jack. The wild power of the singular eye that sees without opening, without collapsing, an eye that leaves no trace but a smile. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, we'll have John, Scott, Lisa, and several others. Keep them coming.
Hi, John Simons here in Honolulu, and I live just below a ridge that has a gated community of multi-million-dollar homes, and we live in a city that is real estate growth is pretty phenomenal. I suspect those of you who also live in a big city that is growing may relate to this. This poem is about the folks that live up above. It's called Light from Above. Our hills seem allied with the towns of Luxor, a city of Egypt known for its sunlit columns, and a Vegas hotel with the strongest skybeam, all reflecting life in old and new worlds of light. From the heights come the look of luxury, winking down at us each night with commanding beacons, a looming lamplit mass, subsets of the stars, projecting the sparkle of lucre, reminding us they stand watch, lighthouses guarding the high ground of America's multi-grade dream. At dawn, the ridge converts to sun-glint Mediterranean sprawl, a gated new world that became our tile-roofed eastern horizon in less than 2 decades of growth. Hawaii Lower Ridge looks down on our old Dairyland Valley, but not in demeaning ways, though its terraced lawns by day and guiding lights at night lift up our eyes to the hills, from whence cometh little help. Instead, from us to them grows empathy. Their remote palisades, safe from our intrusive sightseeing, offer but one gate in and out, while our sea level traffic, slow as it often is, more freely gauges our movement options. A walk-to group of busy stores among our own monster homes and single-family side street camouflage rental nooks. The candle power of lesser lights flashes on the waters to remind us of our nearness to the ocean flood, pending need and chance for rescue. Unlike those locked in upward mobility. Thank you.
Thank you. It's very nice to be joined from everybody from Hawaii and various other parts of the globe. All right. Scott, if you're ready, and then we'll have Lisa, Jonathan, Terry, and various others. I see more talented people in the room, so feel free to volunteer, people. But yeah, next up we'll have Scott.
All right. Thanks, Layla. Scott Kalupa from Columbia, South Carolina, but really from Houston. So I miss all of my Houston family. I seem to be a permanent transplant at this point. So I was going to read something new, but after Chelsea's lovely line about grief in a new person is ugly, I decided to read from my book Quarantine, which was out about a year before the pandemic hit. So it was like really strange time. And the book is all about the early AIDS pandemic when grief was in every new person, and so was beautiful. So this is Nausean number 7. Oh, content warning, it drops an F-bomb just in case. Nausean number 7. And this opens with an epigraph. What a sweet gift this is. James L. White. The music from my living room meanders through our clumsy romp. Your lips sforzando each time I crescendo through your button fly. Diminuendo at the drops of picture frames on countertops. This kitchenette impromptu fuck is not uncommon comfort work. It's how we box up luckless men, once strangers in our darkened dens, now hidden deep in Nauseans. Our slackened traps and limbs receive Satie's sad, salty melodies. It's messy, but it's how we grieve. Our ravenous and raving months in love begin and end with death. And you, my relic, you, my breath, half stammer notes of grace bereft. These liquored kisses, your bequest, will soon bloom blotches on my chest. Thank you.
Ooh, thank you. All right, Lisa, when you're ready, followed by Jonathan, Terry, Art, and several others.
Hi. Are you able to hear me? Okay, great. This is a haiku, so I'll read it twice. Pupa-born monarch cleaves to cracking man-made throne. Soft winds dry her wings. Pupa-born monarch cleaves to cracking man-made throne. Soft winds dry her wings.
Thank you. And I see you followed with what Allison set up about reading a haiku twice. Nicely done. And thanks, Allison, for setting us up for success there. All right, Jonathan, when you're ready, followed by Terry, Art, and then two Gormans and Audrey.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, I missed a couple of the last meetings and glad to be here today. I wrote this one recently. I finally got ticked off enough about climate change to write something about it. I know it's overdone, but hopefully you'll find something in it. It's called Implausible Deniability. All you care about is pretending you didn't know, acting as if no one could have known, being the monkey that couldn't see, couldn't hear, couldn't speak. You won't be the idiot that rushes in trying to save the planet. You'll be the grandfather clock, just ticking quietly in the corner until the bell tolls. The world is in flames, but you pretend to have a chill right up to the time the skin literally melts off your body in liquid globs of bloody tapioca, drooling down a skeletal framework, all the while thou doth protest too little, taking a position to get reelected as your eyes bulge, wondering what happened, wishing you could have a picnic in a park that's only an ashen remain where barbecues and picnic tables once stood. Is this game worth playing where climate spins like a roulette wheel as you pretend it's all left to chance, as if you couldn't stop the spinning if you wanted to? You could close the whole goddamn casino, but you won't. It's not in the cards for you, being that person, someone willing to take heat to prevent mass suicide. Let it ride, hit me again, a jackpot is around the corner, you can't lose, nothing can go wrong. No one will hold you accountable. You will always say it wasn't you. You will always say it was us. You will say it would happen anyway while you watch birds and deer, antelope and elk, fish and fowl dry up and perish as extinct as a dead volcano. Then it will come for us. History will not judge you when there is no history, when there is only a flat plain of desert of dried and dusty nonsense strewn across the landscape, showing us the place beyond Mad Max's Thunderdome, the awesome power we have when we convince ourselves that we can deny our way through the end of the world and never say we're sorry.
Thank you, thank you. All right. You know, I don't think you can write too much about a thing if it's actually still happening and still relevant. Just saying. Go for it. All right. Next up, Terry, Art, John Gorman, Christy Gorman, and there's still time to volunteer if you'd like to.
Thank you for giving me a chance to read one of my poems. Lately, I have been considering pursuing my MFA. I already have several graduate degrees, but I've considered earning my MFA, and I've been in conversations with two well-known U.S. poets, and one of them told me, he said, "Oh, you're going to pursue your MFA?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, how much is that going to cost you?" And I said, "Well, between $20,000 and $30,000. He said, "Forget that." He said, "I can screw you up for half that price." And this poem is created on his encouragement to look at poetry written in other languages. And it's amazing. it's amazing how much you say, you know, we read English poetry all the time, but then when you start reading translations of poetry that you would have never considered before and introduced by somebody who really knows it well, it opens up a new frontier for you. So I wrote this poem after listening to our poets here. I just wrote the poem and some of the stuff I've heard from a Kurdish poet. The poem is titled, "That Is to Say." There's a Kurdish phrase that means child that translates into English as tied to my heart. When you want to ask someone how he is feeling, you ask him, "How is your weather?" English is my hermitage, French my sanctuary. As a child, my father spoke in French to conduct business, sell a pig, buy a plow, ask the priest to say a mass for his mother. But a German nun said we demonstrated ignorance when we spoke French in school. Perhaps she had not tied us to her heart, or it may have been she was having a hurricane day. Thank you.
Thank you. Hurricane Day. I think we can relate here in Houston. All right, next up, let's have Art, followed by John Gorman and Christy Gorman, and then Audrey. And then if no one else volunteers, I'll wrap it up.
Okay, my name's really Ann. I don't know how my husband's name got put on there, but so I have 4 little haiku poems. Is that okay to read?
We have that one poem rule.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's no problem. The red yucca blooms, nature's hummingbird feeder, my daybreak cafe. The red yucca blooms, nature's hummingbird feeder, my daybreak cafe.
Nicely done. Thank you. All right, next up, John Gorman.
Well, I think I've unmuted my audio. Do you think so too?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, this poem is called Night Rider, and it's set in the Midwest, west of Chicago, where we have oak trees. I love the live oaks that we have here in Texas that keep their leaves green all year. The oaks up in Illinois keep their leaves all year too, but the leaves don't stay green. So they're all, you know, kind of images of death, not to be too despondent. It's a teenage memory poem. Here in the field, the city is a yellow-gray blur on the snow clouds, a few scattered flashing red lights. The boy is drunk. He stumbles a little on the hard, plowed ground. Stalks and leaves of falling corn pitch in and out of the snow waves like sails of a huge armada drowning. He wants to leave the town that's held and shaped him, and technically, he's left it. He wants to walk to the rise where an oak grove, dark and shapy against the night sky, will show him the tops of the water towers, the gas tower, the 2 or 3 tallest buildings. He wants the dead leaves these trees hang on to all winter to tell him is right. But the headlights he forgot to turn off on his father's car are dimming, or he thinks they're dimming, and he turns, knocking a rampart of frozen earth from a furrow. His mind sees the slope and rise and fall and rise and stretch of American land from the hidden edge of the Oak Knoll to the infinite Rockies to the Pacific, blue water, warm sand. And it came to pass, he says foolishly, into the night's air, a few more snowflakes spewing. He swigs the dregs and drops the pint bottle of brandy that serves for that mellower brandy. He swivels in a huge round snifter by cafe light in the Paris of his mind. Lights appear around a curve below, but it's not the police. They honk, but they don't stop as they pass his empty car. Probably they don't know him. Certainly they don't see him lurching like a robot over long corrugations patiently shaped in the earth, blowing whiny plumes into the ice of the air that could, but won't, kill him. The engine strains, then catches. In a sense, nothing's gone wrong. After a minute, when he's sure it will last, this garage word, bedward motion, he flips on the heater. Radio fills the ticking world of the car with its swirl of music, acne, prizes, freedom, song by brilliant song. He lets it reel him home. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have a double shot of Gormans here today, a Christy Gorman, and then next up, Audrey, and following that, Katie.
Hi, I'm Chris. I am not a poet, but I wanted to read a poem about a dinosaur as an adult. There's a lot of opportunity for y'all there because they are all for kids. But my friend really loves poems about people at work. So I'm going to do this poem called The Paleontologist's Blind Date. Bones, he says, holding, I can almost feel the stone and the sand sifting away, his fingers like the softest of brushes. I realize after this touch, he would know me years from now, even in the dark, even without my skin. Thank you, I smile, and then I close the door and never call him again. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, Audrey.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible? Okay, so this is actually not a poem written by me, but it is written by one of my friends rather. So she has named it The Mask. She smiles, I cry. She's outgoing, I'm shy. She loves, I'm alone. She is amazing, I'm unknown. She is beautiful, I'm a mess. She's happy, I'm depressed. My mask is perfect. She hides me. Thank you.
Thank you. Very clever. All right, next up, Katie Hirth, and then I'll wrap it up.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a while since I've come to a public poetry reading, and as always, it's just a wonderful way to spend an afternoon. So I'm going to read a poem. It's called As Wildflowers. I think I found the cure for all the shame we're taught to feel within our bodies. Instead of flesh and bone, imagine this, a wildflower blooming on the prairie. As a black-eyed Susan, it makes sense to wear a yellow sundress, gussy up and gaze into the mirror of the sky. Being lovely isn't frivolous, it's an ecosystem of survival. And no one dares to blame the spiderworts who fill the summer fields with indigo, for seeking out the touch of honeybees, for flirting with the monarchs flying by, for relishing the kiss of August sun. And who could blame the vervain blooms who drip with dulcet nectar for enjoying a visit from a handsome hummingbird? And if my body were a dandelion, I wouldn't have to hate it so for changing as the seasons change, its golden petals suddenly the hue of snow. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, before we get back to our featured poets, I just thought I'd share one poem real quickly. This is an old poem by Emily Dickinson. And there are a lot of things I could say about finding connections, you know, to other poets and other human beings, in effect, in other places, other times. You know, I like to read this poem two ways. I hear it sometimes in terms of Emily in her own home, in her own time, in her own head. And sometimes it's kind of about me, which it's not, but I feel it as I'm here in Houston. So I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell, they'll advertise, you know. How dreary to be somebody. How public, like a frog, to tell one's name the livelong June to an admiring bog. So there you go. There's a fun poem for everybody. All right, thanks to the open mic readers. And now we will return to our featured poets today. Let's welcome back Allison Whipple.
Thank you. It was a great first round. I loved hearing all of my co-features, and it was a really fun open mic. So I'll read two poems for sure, and with a few more haiku. These are going to be slightly longer poems, so we'll just see how long they take. Photograph of us in the Santa Elena Canyon, 2011. February, and the Rio Grande is so low, the rocks in the middle sit high and dry. We've hopped out to the biggest, flattest one. You're not smiling, not looking directly at the camera, which you set up on another exposed stone. Your hands are wrapped around one knee. You have trail dust on your jeans. Your shoulders hunch forward. I'm looking into the lens full grin, my shaved head at an angle the way my dance teacher taught me. Late morning sun bleaches rocks behind us. This is my first time in a canyon. In this photo, you are my best friend, and I believe we'll be friends forever. You have just met your future ex-husband. The Texas sheer casts a shadow on Mexico. My hands fold into soft fists. We've left our layers on the riverbank, the long hike warming our Midwestern bodies. I want to take off my shoes and wade to Mexico, but you are not a citizen yet, and I don't want to risk your safety. Even though you are Canadian, white, a woman, I still fear an unseen border patrol, certain they would hunt down anybody. I could have left my husband for you. I could have renounced men forever for you. Standing in the canyon split my heart open. 9 years later, I can't tell you. I didn't know I could breathe so close to another country, or that it would look exactly like mine. And I write a lot of camping poems and a lot of Texas poems, and a lot of them are camping misadventure poems. Yeah, it's a lot more fun that way. And so this one is set in Searim State Park, which is on the opposite side of the state. If you didn't know, the Santa Elena Canyon is in Big Bend, which is in far west Texas, and it's my favorite part of Big Bend. I've written so much about that canyon. And so this next poem is in Searim State Park, which is, I believe it is the northernmost beach on the Texas Gulf Coast. Beachcombing, 5 a.m. After the storm makes a liar of the weekend forecast and sends tide beyond rack line over berm. After the gusts split tent poles down the middle, forcing us into rain. After we cram essentials back haphazard into the truck, sit in the front seats and wait. After clouds break to reveal Jupiter's glow, we know all hope of sleep is lost. Port Arthur refinery lights project false belief in impending sunrise. We walk along a thin strip of sand rushed into tiny dunes from high cresting water. In your headlamp, the caps of waves froth brown with churned up sediment. The Gulf has tossed a miscellany of shells for miles down the beach. You fill your pocket with lightning whelks and horse conches. I hoard shark eyes, streaked rust and navy blue, wrapped tight into golden ratios. My favorite, though, a damaged rock snail because I like the way it has broken. Hollowed to no longer resemble the curve of an ear, but rather the junction of rib and sternum. I wrap my arm around your back, feel your body warm against the pre-dawn damp. Red mottled clouds blooming behind us, we walk into the lingering night. And I'll end with 3 more haiku. Chimney swift nest, same farmhouse every summer, inheritance. Chimney swift nest, same farmhouse every summer, inheritance. Feral beehive, the whole earth humming beneath our feet. Feral beehive, the whole earth humming beneath our feet. Ruby-throated hummingbird, for a moment motionless, shift in the wind. Ruby-throated hummingbird, for a moment motionless, shift in the wind. Thank you.
Bravo, thank you. Love a good nature poem. All right, let's welcome back Rooster Martinez.
Hi, thank you all again so much for having me. Thank you to all the organizers as well, everyone working behind the scenes on today. We really appreciate you as well. I'm gonna do 2 poems and we'll just kind of go from there. So just, I guess, a brief trigger warning. This is a poem about mental health, so just kind of know that. This poem is called The Gospel According to Healthy Coping Mechanisms. Curled up on the couch like a dog again. Even my blood is too loud for this day. I'm far too concerned about things like ghost ships. The fact I cannot bake a pineapple upside down cake. Or all the unreal things that become real because my mind says so, to the point that the labor of living becomes a solitary sentence, slowly stripping joy from my smile most midnights. And most midnights, anxiety is a rolling torrent, whitewater, claws me down to the pall bottom of dreams. On those nights, I cranked the pain volume up to 11 for my wicked mind that made touchable these drowning ghosts. Did I miss the exit to happiness somewhere along this road? Or is the wasteland the destination? I swear that my mind is not crazy, but it is a rest stop for weary angels as afraid of forever as I am. What pulls the grenade pin and sends my sunshine into a spiral? Which trigger turns the world into mirrors? I don't know. But I am coming back, like a torched art gallery, Tonight, I'm unburdening joy, genuflecting the grace being broken has afforded me, and it's a softness, a gospel according to my therapist's couch, a gratitude for the percussive pulse. I thank God I talk to anyone friendlier than my haunted house, for the open window and the calm knowing thunderstorms will appear within them one day, and it's okay. The horizon breaks dawn and darkness the same. So let there be a moment where the door is left open to carry your breath for even just a second longer than you planned to. Your burden is not a 5-alarm fire. It only feels that way in your 5-alarm mind. And the whole world is a grenade. And it's okay. Thank God it's okay. Bell the gospel of tomorrow is another day, and I swear there's something on the other side of it. I swear to leave behind the open door that you might be searching for, and I swear, even when it's too loud and when it howls, your pulse is music. Thank you. And then for my last piece, I just, again, want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon. And just kind of as a public service announcement, as rising cases of coronavirus are going up, please wear masks. And if you know anyone who isn't vaccinated, give them the gentle nudge or the forceful nudge or whatever you can. This is a piece I actually wrote about my grandmother, who I did lose to coronavirus before we had vaccines, and I loved her immensely, and this is for her. So this poem is called The Last Time I Saw You. 1. A virtual family reunion, a wall of muted wails. Everyone takes their moment, and a machine runs a breath through your small body. 2. The second to last time I saw you, I don't recall when exactly. Before Thanksgiving, I think. And I dropped by your yellow house. I heard you sleep in the front room now. It's more manageable. Your bedroom, an unmoved, unchanged mausoleum the last 15 years. Why bother making the bed for lonely? Queen size too large and heavy. I hugged you and said, goodbye, little lady. I snap a photo to send to my mother. You wore a Six Flags shirt with Wonder Woman on it. 3. The last time I do remember seeing you, I wandered off into the neighborhood, awashed in psilocybin. The way the world breathes content in its endlessness is a dare to let life go. The center of the universe emits out of everywhere, and I walk under overcast skies until the sun looks at me and I burn. Thirsty, I realize how close I am to Yellow House. I pass San Fernando Cemetery number 2. A grave digger sleeps on a yellow backhoe as still as a bed after a day of filling the earth with us. I arrive to your absence and use the manguera, the water hose, like a boy baptizing a 37-year-old man. I prepare to leave and continue on, and you arrive like mercy, and I am a semi-crazed wet dog. You invite me in. I sit. We dissolve into discussion like communion wafers on the tongue. You tell me exactly where everyone is in their respective orbits. I down tap water from a mason jar. Before I leave, you ask if I need a ride, and I decline, opting for the air and the steps ahead. A virus rages on, unseen, outside. The world refuses to hold us delicately. The sky overcasts again, and I put one foot in front of another. Goodbye, little lady. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Thank you very, very much. And much, much love to you and your family. All right, let's welcome back Giovanni Singleton.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I want to share a little short film, but it's 6 minutes and 19 seconds, but I can stop it at 6 minutes if you want.
Please keep going with it. I don't
Okay,
want to be
so-
that strict. You can have the seconds.
Okay, let me see if I can cue it up. It has to do with dirt and really about the state of sidewalks in my neighborhood here in Houston, and how oftentimes dirt is given a bad rap, but I'm really interested in it reclaiming its space as we continue to pave and pave and pave. Okay, so let me see if I can find it. Do you swear to tell the dirt, the whole dirt, and nothing but the dirt, so help you clean? Day 39, a Monday. Black girl, you a black girl. Black girl, play on blacktop, play. Girl, black, you a black girl. Jump down, turn around. Black girl, sing pretty song. You a black girl. Play on, merry-go-round. You black girl, look, merry-go-mad. You black, you girl. Smile. Yes, smile. Show those pearly whites. Stop playing in that dirt and get in this house right now. You hear me? Gonna walk down that dirt road till someone will let me ride. Take your shoes off. Don't be bringing no dirt in this house. I just now cleaned up in here. A dirty floor be a world of hurt. Dirt bag, do someone dirty. Throw enough dirt and some will come back. A relative been looking for work. Picked up a few night shifts cleaning one of those knobs in OB, nice office buildings downtown. Pay dirt, air dirty laundry, a washing board, 10 ways to get white clothes whiter, ironing board. Ever make a mud pie? Ever taste one? Rapunzel's hair clean? Wash and rinse, DIY. Cinderella on her feet, corns or calloused, dragged through the dirt. Snow White, a dirty apple's delight. Sleeping Beauty, Alice's land, dirtful wonder. Dig some dirt, Prince Charming. Do some dirt, knight in shining armor. Dirt poor, committed body to the ground. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. As common as dirt, corn, tomatoes, potatoes, peas, greens, spring up crops to fill the pots, dish the dirt. Black ants abandon their anthills, places we should be or have been erased from. Everyone is using the same pair of scissors for tongues. Dirty mouth, dirty movie, a low-down dirty dog admired another dog's bravery. Her coat of white fur, how she fiercely protected it as it protected her. Most of the time, she was quiet, but sometimes she growled. She wouldn't let anybody pee on her fur because she never wanted to be soiled, to be dirty, as everything else was dirty. But cleanliness was not good either. Anything clean was always at risk of becoming dirty. To alleviate stress, she let her paws be dirty sometimes. Shh. Her friend, though, often behaved like a low-down dirty dog. Although well-groomed himself, he was always wanting to spray her pristine white fur with his urine. Maybe on a day when her fur is especially clean, she'll imagine letting him, dirty mind, dirty old man's dirty look, do a little dance, the dirt devil says. Shake it, baby. Come on, shake it for me. Talk dirty to me, dirt bag. Be lower than dirt. Old dirty bastard, said the neighbor. Dirty old bastard. Handed down a dirty deal. A law outlawing chickens from producing oval-shaped eggs has recently been made into law. Eggs must now be cube-shaped and brown. Any chicken found producing oval-shaped eggs will be sent down and fried. No appeals will be heard. And that is that. Roll or play dirt ball. Or if you like, ride a dirt bike. Don't mind playing dirty pool or looking past a ring around the tub. Life is time, and time gets your hands dirty. Real filthy now, the warning signs say. Wash them clean now. 20 times if you want life. Hey, keep off my nice, pretty raked, clean, leafless lawn. Nice, pretty flowers. Mind and keep your droplets to yourself. And pick up after your dog, cat, bird, turtle, gerbil. End the stress and worry. No need to worry about dirt. No need at all. It's all covered. Look, you smell that? Rain's coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was very cool. All right. Let's welcome back our fourth and final featured poet for this month, Chelsea De Soto.
Hi, thanks again, everybody. I'm just going to read a small handful of short poems. I'm going to start with The Americans, which is after the television show. When you get home, I won't be wearing the wig I bought to hide my scalp, so you'll have nothing to take off me. I'll meet you at the door. I'll want to ask how you know if you love someone enough. I'll want to ask what happens if all this time you mistook yourself for a real person. It's raining. Come home. We'll watch the show where the husband and wife perform love by kissing passionately in the kitchen before leaving to spy for a secret country. It's about what we tell each other and what we don't. You won't say the trip was better without me. I won't tell you how I slinked around in a housecoat, carrying a teacup of dark tequila, and the silence was a symphony blooming in every corner. Come home, I miss you. I've put away the wig, it's too brunette. It's just me here. I have no secret country. This is called Song of the Bayou City. In Texas, rain sank the earth. The city sang its bayous. I learned the weight of humidity wrapping its legs around you. In Texas, doctors removed my plastic heart. Heat contaminated choice. I played a professional to activate nerves between my legs. In Texas, fear was a rising river of bright depression. All the bats died. I lost all sense of time. In Texas, even animal meat wasn't enough. I ate organs and pills and gave away blood. In Texas, possums ran for shelter. I packed a bag for the roof. Between my legs, scar tissue of bayou slicing through industry. I was a ghost with domestic responsibilities. Floodwater licked the front steps. Marriage got hard. In Texas, water from the spout ran dangerous and gold. I followed animals back to their home, held irresponsible anger, irrepressible shame. In Texas, a stranger asked if I had a community of faith. Locked things exploded. I drank oil and gas, pomegranates on the counter, rotten and black. In Texas, I watched pelicans dive at the beach, drop to my knees that I might be as hungry as their open beaks. Okay, this one is called City Lake. Almost dusk, fishermen packing up their bait, a small girl singing, "There's nothing in here," casting a yellow pole, glancing at her father. What is it they say about mercy? 5 summers ago, this lake took a child's life. 4 summers ago, it saved mine. The way the willows stretch toward the water but never kiss it. How people laugh as they walk the concrete path or really have it out with someone they love. One spring, the path teemed with baby frogs, so many flattened, so many jumping. I didn't know a damn thing then. I thought I was waiting for something to happen. I stepped carefully over the dead frogs and around the live ones. What was I waiting for? Frogs to rain from the sky? A great love? The little girl spies a perch just outside her rod's reach. She wants to wade in. She won't catch the fish, and even if she does, it might be full of mercury. Still, I want her to roll up her jeans and step into the water, tell her it's mercy, not mud, filling each impression her feet make. I'm not saying she should be grateful to be alive. I'm saying mercy is a big, dark lake we're all swimming in. Watching my daughter sleep, I remember when doctors said my breast milk would become toxic. How could you know what it means? That in winter I softened chicken livers with shallots and butter, fed you with a spoon. How I fought to put a piece of myself into everything that nourished you. I would have braided my hair into challah for Saturday morning French toast if I'd had any hair left. Even now, even when we can't afford it, I feed you organic blueberries, sweeten your spinach muffins with pure maple syrup. Even now, I buy you cold pressed carrot juice with probiotics and put it on a credit card. It is not frivolous. And I'm not telling you this to prove my sacrifices. I'm as regret-soaked as anyone, as you will be. Loving you is the orchard creek freezing from the bottom up, bewildering, crowding, like lightning to the apple branch. It splits me. And then this is my last poem. It's called Annual Migration. After 3 days of rain, this morning is streaked as golden as the thin crust on the baguettes at the bakery down the road from where I'm walking, watching the swallows descend on the cattail tops, which are all rushing a bit southeast in the wind. The maple nearby, the only one reddening its leaves this early in the season. The baby is wrapped to my chest. I've walked as far as I can today. Overhead, a skein of Canada geese marks the inevitable decline of temperatures, a great continental journey. I didn't know what motherhood would feel like. One day she just appeared, and all the ancient wooden joints in my heart clicked into place. The whole thing started thrumming. And now, you know what? I've changed my mind. I want to leave the cancer out of this poem. She's soft as goose feather, fast as a fleet of sparrows, unpredictable as the flash of cardinal in the reeds. Thank you.